back, yeah.
Whoa! Yay? Welcome to Run It Back. I hear nothing, but we're going to go ahead and do the show.
You're screaming.
I have to scream because I don't hear anything, which is awesome. It's called technical difficulties, but we'll deal. Lou Will, Chandler P is back. Boogie with the sweet shirt. Chandler, how we feeling?
I've been better, Beats, but I'm here.
What a hero coming into work.
I'm a true professional.
100%.
True professional. It's my flu game today.
It is
Watch
the
out.
flu game today. We got a game to talk about. We got Cron Butler coming up a little bit later, but let's talk about what in the actual world happened last night to these Cleveland Cavaliers. Game one at the Garden, and it was a crazy one. Cavs up by as much as 22. Wasn't good enough. Knicks come back. Jalen Brunson's a stud. 38-6, 5 rebounds. Mikal Bridges with 18 and 5. Cat had 13. Donovan Mitchell had 29 points. Largest playoff comeback in franchise history. That's not what you want for a playoff game, guys. 93-71 is where we were with 7:52 left in the game. And they end up losing by 11 points. I was once told by Lawrence Frank to never use the word choke or collapse. I'm going to use both of those right now. Have you ever seen something this atrocious in a playoff game? Chandler, go first.
We're using Lawrence Frank quotes.
I got yelled at by him.
Boogie, let it go.
He was a coach.
Let's keep moving.
And I was a silent reporter. He yelled at me.
I was going to let it go.
I don't know if I've seen so many mistakes that led into a comeback. And obviously the players are accountable for this. And whether it was James Harden getting absolutely cooked in ISO situations, or it was Donovan Mitchell not being there in the fourth quarter, or it was simply Kenny Atkinson allowing a 23-4 run without calling one timeout when he had 2 timeouts left. Going to hack a Robinson with 7.5 minutes, to me, when they were up 22 points, just showed me that this was a scared basketball team. They started bogging the game down. They started going deep into the shot clock, slowing it down. There was one play they had a 3-on-1 fast break, and they literally pulled it out because they wanted to milk the clock, and that just sent the wrong message with 7-8 minutes left in this game. So there were so many mistakes. Jalen Brunson was sublime in this fourth quarter. Like, he hit so many tough shots. But this is what he does. Like, why did it take so long to double team him to get him to get the ball out of his hands? Why did it take so long to get James Harden out of there when he wasn't really going nuts offensively? And Max Strus, who's been doing a great job defensively all playoffs long, is sitting on the bench. Sam Merrill was on the bench when that started. Mobley was on the bench when that started, who, if Wemby never existed, he'd be one of the best defensive players. He'd win Defensive Player of the Year. And then we have Schroeder and Keon Ellis on the bench, who are fantastic on-ball defenders. And you're allowing them to put James Harden in situations where he struggles. And he got cooked when it mattered the most. And again, he had a big pull-up there at the end, but that's really all he contributed down the stretch. So this was a combination of just, I think, bad coaching and just bad executing, bad substitutions, just kind of a real combination of everything bad that happened for Cleveland. And Jalen Brunson exposed them. He found the open man when they did start doubling him, and he made an insane run there in the fourth quarter. I almost turned the game off. Yeah. I think
a lot of people probably did, but the Jalen Brunson
I turned it off and turned it back on.
It's crazy. This. I don't like to say choke job either, but this.
Because Lawrence Frank told you.
But every once in a while you gotta. But Chandler, every once in a while you gotta call a spade a spade. You don't even know where to place blame in this. It was so many opportunities for the Cleveland Cavaliers to make adjustments to stop this from happening. Nothing was adjusted, from the coaching to James Harden to having Schroeder on the bench. Like, I understand he's 1 for 9 from the field, but that's not what you asked Dennis Schroeder to do anyway. You asked him to junk up the game, guard your best players, and give you an opportunity to get stops. In a collapse like that, where you got a guy like James Harden in 19 straight switches that a team is seeking him out, you put somebody else on the floor that can kind of patch that up for you. So that's on Kenny Atkinson. Also, and like Chandler just said, you have 2 timeouts that you can go to those adjustments to put other people in the game to give you an opportunity. Didn't do that as well. James Harden didn't take the challenge as well. Like, we can talk about all of these other guys, but when a team is seeking you out, you got to sit down. Like L. Frank said that to you. I also had a coach tell me it's no help when somebody is straight line driving you. If somebody is going straight down the gut of your defense, we can't even help you with that. That's something that you got to be able to keep the ball in front of you. So time and time again last night, from the fourth quarter to the overtime, it was a total collapse from the Cleveland Cavaliers. But it started with James Harden, and it ended with Kenny Atkinson.
I agree. To piggyback off of Lewis, started with James Harden, ended with Kenny Atkinson. It was to a point where I thought the best decision for the Cavaliers to try to close that game out was to pull James Harden. I think I think anybody in that situation would have been better, especially with, the performance down the stretch. Like you said, he wasn't having the greatest offensive night. The urgency wasn't there. The poise wasn't there. The leadership wasn't there. So, like I said, I think at that point in the game, anybody would have been a better option to even avoid getting to that overtime situation. And that goes back to coaching as well. I mean, that's a tough decision to make in the moment in a conference finals game to pull one of your best players. But those type of decisions do fall on coaching, and I think Atkinson should have made the ultimate decision.
James Harden should have pulled himself.
But
there's so many of those.
The problem is we're used to this from James Harden, the defensive end, but sometimes. And most of the time, he's so good offensively that you live with this and you deal with this. Last night, he was 1 for 8 from the three-point line. He had 6 turnovers, and he was 5 for 16 from the field. Like, he wasn't giving what he usually does offensively, so why am I allowing them to go on this 23-4 run while I leave him in the game? When, again, like Lou said, we got guys like Schroeder who are there to annoy Jalen Brunson and to pick him up 94 feet. Yep. Keon Ellis is the same type of guy. Max Strus just did the same thing to Cade Cunningham. And he's on the bench while we need stops. Like,
what do you think that is? I don't want to play psychologist here, but why do you think that is? Because I think it ends up the math is like a 44-11.
44-11 in fourth quarter in overtime.
So then why? Is there a loyalty? Is there a hierarchy that James Harden is sort of on this level, so we're not going to embarrass him?
Well, I think they're just thinking at that point, even if we just trade baskets, like we're okay. We got a 15-point lead, we got a 17-point lead. But then once they started bogging the game down, they started just milking the clock. Then they stopped doing what they got them to lead, and then they were just giving up points. Like, think about that.
Like they were just trying to run out the clock.
From the Hacker Mitchell.
If my coach told me to do that,
to stalling out on offense, to play, they were playing keep away. They weren't playing to win. They were playing keep away. They weren't playing to win. They were trying not to lose the basketball.
They wanted time to run out.
If I'm Mobley and I'm Dean Wade and I'm these guys, I'm like saying, Kenny, come, no more hack. Like, we can get stops.
Well, Dean Wade shouldn't say that.
I'm just saying, Dean Wade can defend Strus. Think about it. Why not? You're up 22 points. Put in Donovan Mitchell, Schroeder, Wade, Strus, and Mobley, and just get stops, and you win the game. You don't need to score anymore. You're up 22 points.
Okay, so is there a loyalty thing?
Like yes, it can be a loyalty thing, and at the end of the day, that's one of your top 2 best players on the floor. So yes, you have a certain responsibility to keep him on the floor, especially if you're going to need scoring when a team is making a run. But you also gotta read the room and know the game and say, hey, look, this is not personal. I got to give us an opportunity to get out of here and steal this game 1 in Madison Square Garden, especially with the way that we played for 3.5 quarters. This was a game for us to win. This was a great opportunity for us to start this series off before this team got going. It felt like in the fourth quarter, New York finally woke up. They probably were a little rusty, and they started playing the basketball that got them to this position. And Cleveland just didn't respond well from it. From the players not playing with any pace, not playing with any aggression after getting a big lead, to Kenny Atkinson not making any adjustments. It just was a total meltdown from top to bottom.
You took the building out of it, everything. It was like quiet in there.
Yeah, the fact that this game goes into overtime and you lose by 11 points. Like, how does that happen? That just tells me you took your foot off the gas.
The Knicks covered.
And you let Landry Shamet become part of this basketball game.
And at the same time, you don't want to just make this about Cleveland. The New York Knicks came in and did their job.
But we've seen them. They did this last year.
They showed incredible resiliency throughout this game. It was a point, like you said, where people were walking out, turning the TV off because they thought the game was over. Hey, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and the Knicks came out and they did it.
She definitely was.
I mean, they did it. They did it against the Celtics last year. I mean, they were down 20, like a couple times. Came back.
I just don't understand. You know how the Knicks are built. You know who the shots are going to, and it's still nothing defensively. Like, not even a trap, a soft trap across half court.
What have we seen all playoffs long?
Just take the ball out of his hands.
Thank you, Boogie.
Take the ball out of his hands.
We've watched all playoffs long. We've watched teams take the ball out of the best player's hands before he crosses half court. We're going to let somebody else do it.
Exactly.
You're not going to do it. They allowed Jalen Brunson to play in. He's the best ISO player
in the
game. He's the best ISO player in the game. Y'all let him walk down, seek out the switch that he wanted, and he played 1-on-1 for 7.5 minutes. Yes. Unacceptable.
And think about Clarkson, 3 points. McBride, 0 points. Like, OG was 1 for 6 from the field. Like, these are the type of guys that I would rather sleep well at night knowing that they beat me and made shots than Jalen Brunson, who's been doing this for years, clutch player of the year, like down the stretch, most fourth quarter points. Like, that's the guy that you let go on a single-handedly individual 10-0 run. against the same guy that's guarding him, and no adjustments, no timeouts to even give the poor guy
also
a break.
Why are we keeping timeouts?
You don't get him. You don't get
to
two
end that
more
game
next
with 2 timeouts is crazy.
Again, you take yourself out of rhythm. You're playing well enough to win the basketball game just by playing with pace, and then you start this hack-a-shack thing with Mitchell with 8 minutes to go in this basketball game.
That is soft.
That tells me you're taking your foot off the gas, and at the same time, you're taking momentum away from guys that can score the ball at a high clip. So, yes, James Harden had to sit down and play some defense, in which he didn't. But Kenny Atkinson had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to adjust to the run that the New York Knicks was making, and he didn't do it.
That's just scared coaching to me, man. The hack of Robinson, the scared decision not to pull out your Hall of Fame player.
Or he knows his person.
I think that is scared.
That is scared. That is soft, and
it
you
get
lost.
It could be that too, but
might be a sign he knows his personnel.
You know what, though? Like, let's think about this. Let's say he did pull James Harden yesterday. And I don't even know what the ending matters. But if he would have pulled James Harden,
they'd probably win the game.
But would anybody be on him today?
If you pull James Harden and you win the basketball game, I don't care if he's upset.
What if you pull him and you lose? Do we kind of manipulate this?
But listen,
there's always that fear that now and then if they go cold offensively, then it's going to look bad with James on the bench. Again, that's a calculated risk. But what was happening defensively with him?
Better than a 40-10 run.
But you can't coach worrying about what outside opinions feel about your decision making. Yeah. You can't coach that. You can't coach that way. So we can't get inside of his head and wonder what he was thinking. But there was a lot of decisions out there that leave us to believe that this was an opportunity for him to make adjustments, and he didn't. So, again, was it scared coaching? Was it I trust my guys? Was it loyalty?
Don't love that.
It feels like all of these things. Those are the questions that need to be answered after a collapse like this.
You do, and you realize, this kind of a loss, there's no. I mean, I was right when I said the Knicks were going to the finals, but this really cements that.
Knicks, I knew you could do it.
The spirit here is you're crushed.
Atkinson's comments after were even more confusing.
Oh, you want to get to it? The Kenny ones?
Oh, we were unlucky.
Yeah, he said, quote, the Cavs got a little unlucky.
That's crazy.
What is that quote about?
And I hate having this conversation. Kenny Atkinson's one of my favorite people in the world. One of my favorite people in the world. He is the person responsible for getting my career back on track. But last night I just hated the optics. I hated the decision making on this, and he got to share the responsibility of anybody that was in charge of any decision making or going out there and competing last night. He's just as responsible as anybody else that didn't get in stops. Yeah. James Harden, anybody else.
It's easy for us to sit here and nitpick from our little judgment towers, but as watching the game, it's just like, geez, man. There were so many decisions that could have been made from everything we just discussed, whether it was the timeouts, the double teaming earlier, the continuing to play fast. 8 minutes is eternity.
It's forever.
They weren't unlucky. They were unprepared.
That was.
Unlucky's a weird win.
Unlucky's not it. And then he goes on to say James Harden's been one of his best defenders in the playoff.
I think that's what bothered me the most.
I'm not riding with that.
It's not even about the breakdown. Those type of things happen within games. But it's more so the urgency, especially from the guy you brought in to be that veteran leader on the team. They brought him in for these type of moments. You know what I mean? So just the urgency throughout that run.
Wait, which type of moments? They brought who in for which type?
James Harden.
For playoff moments? See, I disagree. I feel like that was the curse.
Well, let's not forget.
Well, they made the conference finals.
I get it, but I feel like a lot of people are like,
fantastic in Game 6 last series.
But you have to understand, there is
we can't.
When last night happened, a lot of sort of naysayers, and by the way, I like James Harden. I root for James Harden to sort of squash this curse. But last night happened, and you're like, so it's the Homer Simpson going back into the bushes. You're like, oh, come on.
We're talking about 21 switches. That means 21 possessions. They walked down the court and said, you. So even if you're not going to take them off the court, give them another matchup. Whoever's running in the corner, hey, go guard the guy. Go guard Shamet. Right, and if they're gonna come into a screen, no, but you're gonna send a screen, send a guy up, send somebody up where you can keep your position in the corner, even if you're gonna keep him on the floor, but you don't have him stay in that action.
They did, and they gave up the corner three.
But I know
they did switch him.
A lot of times
gave up the corner three.
But with Steph or with Luka, even if his man goes into the action, they'll take a guy from the other wing and they'll run him up.
It's about him and his urgency. It's nothing else. You can't. I agree Kenny Atkinson did a lot of things wrong throughout the game, but this has to fall on James and his urgency. Simple as that. We've seen this time and time again, and we're making every other excuse as far as the hiding him in the defense, putting him up.
I don't think
they switched him, put him in the corner. He gave up 2 corner threes. Like,
I don't think we making excuses. I think we're giving you a laundry list of things they could have possibly done.
And it starts with James and the urgency. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Does he want it or not? We've seen this time and time again.
I mean, we know he
does
wants
he want
it. But
Do
like,
we? Do we know it?
Well, doesn't he? I mean, wasn't that the whole point of this?
He wants it. I don't think that's
From the eye
So then
test
what is
alone,
there
it
a
didn't look
curse?
like he wanted. Even after
mental
giving.
block?
First of all, it's common. He's a bad defender, first of all. So, like, this is
Right.
this is well known.
That has nothing to do with urgency. That has nothing to do with trying and wanting. You can be a bad defender and still want it.
You're speaking to the pace. You're speaking to the body language. You're
Exactly.
Speaking to yes. Okay.
After when we just watched that highlight, after every clip of him getting scored on, he gets the ball, he kind of just walks it up nonchalant, like, oh, everything's going to be okay. That's why it was a 44-10 run.
He got hurt on the one play.
Come on.
Stop it.
The jab step, drive to the left, he grabs his knee, like, come on, bro. Like, that's not winning basketball.
Some of these shots are tough shots. Like,
But if you know what he
that's
does.
good defense.
Cool.
That's an and one.
Can I ask you about the Mike Brown quote? Because he also
Contested.
had,
I mean, well,
Mike Brown answered a lot of questions last night, and at one point, maybe 2, honestly.
tough shot.
Come on, man.
Have you ever heard a coach be so candid and say, and I quote, "It's no secret we were attacking Harden"? Like, I don't know that I've
Part
heard
of me
them
wanted
name-
Jaden McDaniels in this series so I could hear what he thought about
Which we could hear anyways.
this defense.
Are we shocked or like, no, that's just Mike Brown? Because he said some stuff last night. Talking about
But you
James Harden.
can't. But
Stevie Wonder
you
could
can't
see that.
blame him. Yeah, you can't blame him
Stupid.
when your team goes on a 44-11 run to finish a game. You can't blame a coach for being honest, and that's not a. And what he said isn't some kind of secret sauce. He's saying we're
But you don't
seeking
usually
out
hear
the
him
guys.
name them.
I got one of the best one-on-one players in the game.
Yep.
I'm gonna seek out the guy that I feel like gives me the best chance to get a bucket. If this guy is guarding my best one-on-one ISO player, I don't have a problem with my coach saying that.
No.
And if anybody does have a problem with it, I don't know how you can make a case of being upset when you saw the results of it.
And how about offensively on the flip side? Jalen Brunson's not the best of ISO defenders. Do that to him, and he had 5 fouls late. Like they
So
didn't
that
even
speaks to
capitalize
Boogie's
on
point.
And that's the
That-
point.
They
It's
didn't
the
capitalize
effort.
on
It's
the
the
other
urgency.
point.
He's not the greatest
Like, if you're
defender, but
getting
he's not
cooked-
going to sit here and allow 15 straight possessions and get scored on.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Give me a foul. Give me something.
James Harden usually at least is going to get it back on the other end. He didn't do either.
And that's what he gets the ball back, and now we're walking it up the court. Like,
Because they were
there's
just
no
milking
urgency.
that clock, bro.
What
They
a
thought the game was
blown
over.
Nah.
This is such a blown opportunity. It actually hurts my heart for you guys. It wasn't just the defense. And again, this is where the reputation comes in. Harden had 15 points on 5 of 16, 6 turnovers. Again, he's going to have a legacy. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be all kinds of great things. But when his name is mentioned 10, 15 years from now, are we going to think James Harden was awesome, or are we going to think James Harden couldn't do anything in the playoffs, Boogie?
I 100% think he's awesome. I mean,
But are we going to think that first? What's
we're
first?
We're not gonna rewrite history and
Yeah.
say that he was
Bro,
a bad
yes, we
player.
are.
He's a future Hall of
Not a
Famer.
bad player, a playoff choke.
Well, that'll be part of the.
I wouldn't
Well,
think that.
just to be clear, we still got a lot of basketball to play.
yeah,
Sure.
this isn't over.
We
But I
still
am
got
willing to
we
put a
still
dollar
got
on
Just
lot
a
of
bad
basketball-
showing.
A lot of basketball to play. He's partly responsible for them even being in the position for us to have this conversation in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm not going to rewrite history. He's one of the best players that the game has seen. He's also an older player. He's also in the latter stages of his career, and some of that plays a part to it. And this goes back to my point that I made weeks ago. I just feel like at this stage of his career, his game hasn't evolved to something that works at this stage in his career that's worked for him decade before, where he can draw fouls, get to the free throw line, get threes. He doesn't have the blow-by speed that he once had. He doesn't have a lot of those things, a lot of the tools that made him successful. So where is the evolution in your game? How do you maintain that level of consistency and production at this stage of your career? I just don't think he's put any of those things in his bag. But when we look back at him, he's going to be a great player. But if he doesn't clean this up, that conversation has to be a part of it as
Yeah,
well.
like
It's not just
when I look
this.
back, though, I think
not just
I
this one,
think of,
for sure.
I
Because
think
as a
of-
Spurs fan, we don't forget Game 6, James Harden, he had like 10 points total. He just absolutely collapsed.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
those are the
I'll
things that
think
the
of that
brain
maybe
clings onto.
down the line. I'll think about this guy's one of the best scorers of all time. I'll think about how he changed the officiating and the rules of the game. I'll think about a lot of other positive things
are
before
players,
I
that's
think
why.
of, his playoff woes.
The
But
facts.
They're
Yeah,
bad.
so
But
it's a
again, this
different
guy he's a downright insane, just offensive scorer and one of the best to ever touch a basketball. So like that's what I would think about when I think of James Harden. Obviously, he's had his struggles in the playoffs, and that's not a good thing to be talked about.
No.
But also, again, like through 3 quarters, the Cavs look great. They did whatever they want to the Knicks defense, and like they had them right where they want them, like playing that style of basketball. Then the minute they stopped doing what got them there is when all hell broke loose.
It's like they all froze at the same time.
Crazy.
Which was a crazy
Should have never been in that situation.
I agree with you. Through the 3 quarters, we haven't talked about anybody else, so we probably should. Donovan Mitchell had 26 points in 3, and then the 4th in overtime he had 3 points, 1 of 6. Like we just said, Chandler, it's like the whole team just shut down and ran out of
They played keep away.
Yeah.
They didn't play keep away. They didn't play aggressive basketball. They didn't put any pressure on the New York Knicks, and if anything, they allowed them to gain momentum from a team that was asleep for 3 quarters. You want to put them out of their misery. 18 points, they probably thought was enough, and then you start fouling and doing all of those type of things, trying to junk the game up. I just thought it was a bad message to send to your team at that time. If you got 7.5, 8 minutes of basketball left in the game and you're playing hack-a-shack, you're telling your team that we're playing keep away. That is the message that you're sending. So, it was up to Donovan Mitchell or James Harden on the floor to say, hey, we off that.
Yeah.
We off that. Let's get this thing moving again. Let's get this thing moving and grooving. And I think they just trusted their coach in that moment, and they took their foot off the gas and it bit them for it.
Yeah, it's almost like they were just surprised, but come in the 4th quarter that, oh my God, we're up 20. Let's just milk this clock and get the hell out of here, stealing game 1. That's like what it felt like. They stopped doing everything that worked. They stopped playing fast. They stopped taking wide open shots or 3-on-2, 3-on-1 fast breaks, and they wanted to get to the 20, 21, 22 seconds in the shot clock before they would just hoist an awful shot and Jalen Brunson would just go down. Come here, James Harden.
They got some open, and they got some clean open looks too that would have stopped the bleeding, but
the momentum was gone.
The momentum was gone. With 4
time and time again, I've seen this. It was about 3 possessions.
They killed their own momentum.
They got wide open 3-pointers that could have stopped the bleeding, and they missed those shots. And in return, New York pushed the ball down their backs, and they got everything they wanted in transition threes or attacking the rim and getting and ones. Like that was a total meltdown. We can harp on it all day, but from top to bottom, they just took their foot off the gas and played with 0 aggression from the 8-minute mark on.
Do this with 3, 4, 5 minutes left in the game. 7, 8 minutes? That's ridiculous.
It was. I think even Mike Breen, I think they sounded a little shocked that it was happening so early in the game.
Mike Breen gave us a bang early. He was expecting a 3.
Dang it.
He thought Barrel's 3 was cash.
By the way, something to keep your eye on. Donovan Mitchell did appear at one moment to be a little hobbled, but he's denying any injury, so that's something that's not going to help anybody at all. I got to believe him that he's okay. He better be okay. That's all I'm saying. He better be okay. Which duo is under more pressure in this bad boy? Brunson Cat, Mitchell Harden.
I don't think either is under that much pressure. And the reason I say that, I mean, this is a great spot for both teams. If both teams' season was to end right now, I believe so. I think it was a success for both teams.
Before the 8-minute mark, I would have said Brunson and
I think Mitchell and Harden, I don't even think it's close.
I would have said.
I think Mitchell.
They're in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I think Mitchell and Harden, because first of all, Harden just got traded there to be this guy and got traded for a young asset piece in Darius Garland, who's had a lot of success there. Never got this far, but that's a young piece moving forward. And Donovan Mitchell I feel like he's kind of underrated at this point. We don't give him the flowers he deserves. But last year, he played for the Coach of the Year, Kenny Atkinson, right?
Sure.
And the guy that's going to win the Coach of the Year this year, JB Bickerstaff, was his coach for the 3 or 4 years before that. He has had, so you can't blame coaching. You can't blame front office. They have done their job. I think there's a lot of pressure on Donovan Mitchell, who's always been a great regular season player. Now you have an opportunity where it's not like you're playing against this juggernaut, crazy favorite team. Like, I think there's real pressure here, or there's going to be some changes here.
I think there's pressure on both sides. The question is more pressure to make the NBA Finals.
I think this was an easy one.
You can sway it towards the Cavaliers because that's been the team that's made all of the movements. But also, let's not forget how Cat got to New York. Let's not forget that as well. So it can go both ways. But right now, in this moment, it got to be the team that went out and got James Harden at the trade deadline to put you in this position. They did that move.
I disagree.
Over the last 2 years, they've been a better team than the New York Knicks on paper.
Right. I get that, but
both teams had a better season this year than they did the previous.
They did that move.
That's why I say. That's why I feel like there's no pressure on either side. Like both teams improved from the previous year. Both teams are now at a step they haven't been at before. If both teams were to end their season right now, I don't look at either side as saying we failed this season.
Can I offer a
I
counter?
don't think either way is a failure. We're talking pressure. Who has more pressure? Who has more pressure to bring it home?
They just made an in-season move to get better now and to ultimately win a championship in Cleveland with Brad and James Harden.
And they got better.
But is better just getting to one round further and losing to the Knicks
but you
blowing
make
a 22-point lead?
You make that move to get here. And we're talking about James Harden who can walk in the offseason and do all of those things. Like, you make all of these
And he
moves
ain't
to
getting
get
younger.
here. Now, New York has what you said. You make a great point when you say both of these teams have gotten to a position this year that they haven't got in before. But only one of these teams has made these moves to put themselves in this position right away, and that's Cleveland.
All right, so I'm just gonna say this because I disagree with you guys. I think it's 100% Brunson and Cat, and here's why. You have an owner who never speaks, who did an interview and said finals or bust. You have an owner who fired a coach even though they made it to the conference finals.
Dolan,
and first of all, it ain't Brunson because nothing's gonna happen.
It's not Brunson,
so it's
but
Cat
I think
maybe gets
yes,
traded.
I think if they don't make it, that there are going to be changes because it's not a stable owner.
But how silly
offense.
is that? You finally get to the Eastern
That's what I'm
Conference
saying.
Finals.
Guys,
You're going to make this crazy move.
Again, you're acting like I think this makes sense.
I
I don't think it makes sense, but I'm telling you, I think Brunson and Cat are under more pressure because they have a little bit more of an unstable situation behind the scenes.
Well, they're not playing like they under a lot.
Oh, I know, but they can't.
You
They
just
can't.
mentioned for
But Cat
a
would-
minute straight how James Harden, you're going to remember him as a bad playoff player. Isn't that pressure for him to feel that right now?
No, because I already assumed that about him. These other two guys, they lost a coach who went to the conference finals. Like there's pressure. They may not feel it, but it's there.
Cat 6
gets
months ago
moved.
didn't even know his role when he was in training camp.
And he gets moved first if they don't make it.
Oh, Brunson ain't going anywhere. That's what I'm saying. There's zero pressure on Jalen Brunson. He ain't going
Brunson's
nowhere.
fine. Cat? And also, Kid just lost his job yesterday, Jason, and so maybe that coaching change is going to happen. We will talk about that firing after the break. Oh, Karan Butler's here! Woohoo! We'll also talk to